What's happening, everyone? My name is James Lynch, and this is the Fanatics View Hockey Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, post them in the chat. I'll get to them as soon as I can. We got a lot to get into today. Apologies for being a little bit late here today. Just a lot going on, but we got a lot to talk about. The NHL playoffs full underway in round number 2, so a lot to get into on that. We'll talk about some of the coaching stuff that's going on. Rick Tocchet, Frank Saravalli with a report today, which we'll get to in a second. But like we usually do on this show, let's start with last night's action. Big win here for the Dallas Stars. You know, this channel is very much pro Dallas Stars. Shout out to my guy Taylor, who's been covering this series as well. Travis Tyler as well, who we've had on this show. But you look at it there. The Dallas Stars getting it done last night, 3-1. They are now up 3-1 in their series over Winnipeg right now. The Dallas Stars getting some serious offense here from Mikael Granlund. Remember, that was a early trade in the season. Well, not early, but it was, I believe it was before the deadline. That was the one that also brought over Cody Ceci. And, you just see the play of him getting this is why you need to make big moves, early in the season. A guy like Granlund, who was, a standout on San Jose, didn't get as much attention here on Dallas. But one of the things we talked about a couple of weeks ago is the balance of the Dallas Stars. And that is certainly paying dividends as you see them, again, get the win here. 3 goals from Mikael Granlund. You also see Duchesne contributing. Again, Duchesne's a guy that, if you look at the cap hit and everything else, very reasonable. I mean, this is a guy that was bought out a while ago from Nashville. It's certainly worked out for Dallas, getting him on a cheaper contract. Thomas Harley contributing. Miro Heiskanen, who's back in action. That's a big boost for the Stars. Again, the crazy thing with the Stars is that they've been winning all these games, and they didn't have Miro Heiskanen throughout these games. So that's good. You got Mikko Rantanen contributing as well. That trade has certainly paid off a ton for the Dallas Stars. So again, a lot to like about last night's win and everything that Dallas was able to do and to get done. So just something to consider when you're looking at Cup favorites. I would think Dallas is in the driver's seat for the Jets. On the other end, the big story has been Connor Hellebuck and what he has not been able to do. 21 saves on 24 shots. I need to go look at his stats because I feel like his stats for the playoffs this year especially have not been so great. And it's specifically on the road. That's the weird thing too. It's like his road stats for some reason are worse than at home. Not sure what's going on there. If you look here as far as where's the playoff stats here, we're looking for those. So this is, these are the playoffs right here. You look at it, 3.48 goals against average, 851 save percentage. That's not good. 925 during the regular season. So again, Connor Hellebuck, he's not the reason they're losing. I mean, I think just Winnipeg, really missing having a good second line center. That's something they didn't address at the deadline. You see Kyle Connor with an assist. Ehlers getting a goal here, but they are now 1 game away from losing and getting ousted again. And this is what happened to them last year, right? Hellebuck running out of steam a bit and the Jets not being able to capitalize here. So big win there for the Jets. Let's quickly look on the channel and some of the stuff that our guy Taylor has been uploading here on the show. And if you look at it here, you'll see some stuff. We got some Dallas Stars post-game analysis. We got Miro Heiskanen and Mikael Granlund. Got to mention this as well. Check out our new podcast here, the Texas Hockey Podcast. Travis Tyler, who I mentioned, and Trevor Neal. So shout out to those guys doing a great job over there. These guys are doing the podcast right after the Stars. So if you guys are watching the Stars games, especially, definitely want to tune in to this channel after the fact. I'm more a morning guy. I got too much to do at night, so I'm not staying up super late. So I got you covered here in the morning or during the day, I should say. These guys got you covered at night. So lots to check out there. We also got some post-game stuff from Connor Hellebuck. Good screen grab there for my guy Taylor, not looking too happy. A full Jets, scrum there. And then, again, lots of Dallas Star stuff. And the great thing about Taylor is he's up late after the games are over, after we're all in bed, and he's up there getting the post-game stuff. So everything you need is in one spot here for everything you need for the NHL playoffs is here on Fanatics View. So make sure you check that out. Okay, since the last time we talked, a bunch of stuff has changed. So first and foremost, let's talk about the game that's going to be happening tonight. So we got the Edmonton Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas could be out. I didn't think this was going to happen. Edmonton has certainly taken things over. I'll give credit where it's due. The Oilers have certainly been putting it to the Golden Knights. Let's look at the last couple games since we last chatted. You can see there, Edmonton, just a week ago had a 2-0 lead. Vegas did get that goal at the last minute back on, Friday, game 3? Saturday, sorry. On Saturday, they end up getting it. So, You look at it there, the Knights end up getting that last-minute goal, but it's basically been the Oilers most of these series. Let's go even look at some of these past games and kind of get a glimpse as to how the Oilers have been playing. Again, Evan Bouchard has really elevated his game as well. Calvin Pickard's been sort of the backstop for the Oilers, but he didn't even play last game. It was Stuart Skinner. But you look at it there, Vegas not getting much offense. Like, you're not going to win games if you're getting, look at this, 17 shots on net, whereas the Golden Knights, Aiden Hill, 28 shots. I mean, he should be playing better. I think Knights fans can admit that. That not looking so good. We got game 2 here, same sort of thing. This was a little bit better. Obviously, some more offense from the Golden Knights there. Lots of offense on both sides. That's the one that Edmonton ended up winning 5-4. Then if you look at the last game that they had, game 3, you look at it here. Golden Knights, 20 saves on Aiden Hill, 17 saves. You need more than that from your goaltender. And this is something that I figured was going to happen at some point. Like, I know Hill won the cup with them a couple years back, but I do think there's certain points when you really need your goaltender to steal games. And I don't think we've seen that from Aiden Hill in the playoffs so far. It's good that they're getting contributions from guys like Riley Smith, who were late season additions, William Karlsson, but you need, like, where's Jack Eichel here? We need Eichel, 1 assist. You got to do a little bit better than that, I think. With the Oilers on the other end, you look at it there, again, not getting a ton of shots. There should be at least 30 shots on net. I know easier said than done, but you look at the Oilers, they're getting production from their big guns, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Evan Bouchard. So we'll see. Can Vegas hold off the Oilers tonight? The Oilers are going to be in Vegas, I should say. So we'll see if they're able to do it on the road. But I really think we're headed towards an Oilers-Dallas semifinal, a rematch from last year. But the difference this year, Dallas has got a lot more firepower than they did last year, right? So especially with adding Mikko Rantanen to the fold. The other game we got going on tonight is the Panthers and the Maple Leafs. That series is tied 2-2. The Leafs, it hasn't been going so great. I did see that Anthony Stolarz was on the ice. We'll see if he ends up playing, but that really hasn't been the issue for the Leafs. It's not a lack of goaltending. Joseph Woll played very well their last game. If we take a quick glimpse of that, Panthers win 2-1, but you look at it there, 35 saves for Joseph Woll on 37 shots. That's what you need out of your goaltender. It's the Leafs big guns that aren't getting it done. Austin Matthews, 3 shots, no points. Mitch Marner, no shots, no points. Nylander, 4 shots, no points. This is what's going to hurt the Leafs, and this has been a theme throughout their last couple seasons, is where the Leafs' big guns have not been able to go out there and give them the offense that they need. They need more production from that. You can't rely on some of these other guys to just step up and do it. On the other end with the Panthers, Bobrovsky not terribly busy either. Barkov and Bennett and Tocchet, and they're sort of big name players are the ones that are sort of getting it done here. So the Leafs, we'll see if they're able to do it tonight. I want to double check and see if Stolarz is starting. Maybe it's like a morale thing that maybe if he is playing, then that's something that we can certainly look at. Let's see if we got any Maple Leafs stuff. I'm just going to quickly have a look and see what we have as far as the Leafs and their lineups and everything. Let's see if there's any update here. Berube says, okay, here we go. David Alter, guy I like checking out the Leafs stuff. So we see him here. He says, there's a game time decision tonight, not injury coaching decision, the coach says as well. So yeah, we'll see if the lines stay together or not. I'm just waiting to actually see if there's anything on Stolarz though. Let's see. Leafs optional is underway. McMahon and Kampf. Oliver Ekman-Larsson is on the ice too. That's a good sign. So yeah, we'll keep eyes on the lineup here, but I think, like I said, I don't think goaltending's the issue. I just think they need some of their top players to step up here and really get it done for the Toronto Maple Leafs there. So again, the Leafs looking to win at home to get ahead in this series because it's tied right now, and the Leafs have a great opportunity to do this at home tonight. It's a dramatic pause break as I'm trying to sip my coffee here. Let's go over some of the other series. So we had the Hurricanes win the other night. So it looks like the Capitals are done in the water in that one. So yeah, that was a 5-2 win. Quickly looking back on that one, the Capitals, Logan Thompson, very busy, 33 saves on 37 shots, like a little bit more from that. The Hurricanes not as busy. Frederik Andersen, you got to be getting more than 21 shots on net here. It's not really going to pay off too well. Taylor Hall with a goal and an assist, who I did see, by the way, re-signed with the Hurricanes on a new contract. So you got to like that. And again, this is, Carolina's getting it from all different types of players here. So Washington looking to stave off elimination. They play, I believe, tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, as do the Stars and the Jets. So 2 big games. So we could see 2 teams advance tomorrow night with the Hurricanes and the Stars looking to close out their series with Yeah, with those series. So yeah, again, tonight we'll have to see what's going on here. Edmonton, like I said, could advance, and the Panthers and Leafs will see who takes the lead in there. Okay, let's get to some NHL news. The one thing I wanted to talk about today was Rick Tocchet. I'm going to bring up this tweet from Frank Saravalli. Frank, of course, one of the most plugged in, one of the most connected people in the business when it comes to what's going on. And no surprise here. We're hearing from Frank Saravalli that ignore that frog bomb here. I'll zoom in on that. So it just says sources are closing in on Flyers hiring Rick Tocchet as their next head coach. Not official yet, still steps in the process, but definitely trending as this will get done in short order. This doesn't surprise me. For those who don't know, Rick Tocchet, very long career with the Philadelphia Flyers, pretty much beloved there. I mean, I didn't fall, obviously I watched Rick Tocchet when I was younger, growing up and watching hockey. But, talking to some people and just sort of, hearing some insiders talk about this, Rick is really beloved by the city. So this seems like a natural fit. This would be the equivalent of, like a big name player in any market coming back and coaching their own team. And, Tocchet, has been sought after for the simple fact that he has, he won the Jack Adams last year. And I believe he has family back east as well. My understanding is Tocchet actually lives in Vegas. So, I don't think location's a huge thing because, he plays east or west, doesn't matter. I know there was a report from the Canucks saying basically that he would only play back east. I think that that's sort of been opened up a little bit. Darren Dreger also having a tweet yesterday, which I think is worth bringing up here. Let's see what we have. So this was from yesterday. It says strong indications. Where are we here? Strong indications this week that Tocchet will soon land another NHL coaching job. Philly, Boston, Seattle believe among the top contenders. Flyers want to be aggressive, good fit. And then obviously Frank following up and saying that Flyers are aggressive. So what's interesting here is that, it's been reported for months that Tocchet would be like a, hot commodity as far as a coach goes. And if you look at some of these markets here, Philly's going through a bit of a rebuild. Boston's going through a rebuild. Seattle, who knows where Seattle is right now. It kind of goes to it kind of goes against that right now. Saying that, there aren't too many like teams that I can think of that are in like a great situation that are in need of a coach right now. None that come to mind, at least immediately. So I think the media is kind of hyping up Rick Tocchet a little bit. Now, again, he won the Jack Adams last year, but was that because of his coaching or was that because the Canucks had a bit of a fluke season? We're going to find out because Tocchet in general, if you look at his coaching record, it's not really anything that's, outstanding compared to some of the coaches that you see are really sought after, like your John Coopers, Jared Bednar, some of these names, right, that we're sort of looking on the list here. And again, I thought Tocchet was a good fit in Vancouver, but I do think we're getting to this point where he is a little bit overrated. So if you go look at his coaching record here, out of the playoffs more often than not, right? He was obviously an assistant with the Penguins. I believe he won a cup with one of the Penguins teams. I can't remember which one. But yeah, you look at it there, again, one playoff round here too, and then as an assistant, made it into the playoffs as an assistant, but that's not really the same thing there. I mentioned the Flyers, 2 stints with the Flyers earlier, so this kind of seems like it makes sense. Tocchet's played the most with the Flyers in his career, and we'll have to see how that all unfolds. But I just think it's interesting because listen, if you go on Vancouver Canucks Twitter right now, it's doom and gloom. I mean, it's depressing, honestly. Like, yesterday they had an interview with Connor Garland. It seems like he wants out. Everyone's kind of the mindset that Tocchet left because Vancouver's in such a dire situation. But, I don't know how much better Philly really is either. Yes, you've got Michkov, and that's a good, piece and stepping stone that you can build around. But I don't think Philly's in necessarily a better situation than Vancouver is. And I kind of get annoyed with people being like, well, Tocchet left because the situation's so bad. Well, I think part of it too is I think Tocchet, because he got so much prestige and notoriety for winning the Jack Adams last year, I think with him, he's using his leverage to his advantage and he's sort of picking and choosing where he wants to go. I think that's really what it comes down to. I don't think it's that Vancouver's in this sort of tire fire. Now, look, obviously Quinn Hughes leaves. That certainly changes the direction of things. If Pettersson doesn't bounce back, that changes the direction of things. There's still some good pieces here as far as, they got Phil Hronek. They've got, some names that are intriguing as well. So it's one of those things where we really do have to, kind of keep tabs on what's going on and seeing what's happened. But yeah, I guess just for me, like, I'm kind of the camp now where we'll see if Tocchet can turn this around with Philly. There's some jokes right now going that, it might not work out well for Michkov because, Tocchet, if he doesn't like you, he's going to certainly let you know. And certainly, there's a lot of players that were driven out of town in Vancouver because of Rick Tocchet, because he didn't like the way they were playing. And that's kind of how, like just to give you an example, if you look at some of the Canucks players that were driven out of town partially by Rick Tocchet because he didn't like the way they played, Andrei Kuzmenko, Ilya Mikheyev, Podkolzin to a certain degree, like they ended up choosing Daniel Sprong over Podkolzin. That Podkolzin move looks really bad for the Canucks now because, obviously he's been a regular for the Oilers this year. It just seems weird that they would just give a first round pickup like that, which Podkolzin was, for next to nothing. In fact, I think they picked Podkolzin ahead of Cole Caulfield in the draft, which looks even worse now. Or I think they were close together. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, and then Daniel Sprong lasted 10 games. And so we've seen, players not get their fair shot with Tocchet. So I'm curious to see if he does go to the Flyers, will this impact a Michkov or some of these other names? Well, that's something to keep an eye on. And that thing we mentioned a couple weeks ago or last week when Troy was on about Clayton Keller. Right, his production was not good under Rick Tocchet. He gets a new coach. He starts, coming into his own. So we'll see. There's even a theory on that with Elias Pettersson. Maybe Pettersson will play better if he has a different coach. We'll have to find that out. So again, kind of summarizing all this up here, I think it probably will end up being the Flyers. I think, I think it's good for Philly to have, familiar face there, kind of bring some notoriety to the fans, all that, like that will all help. And, I think that's encouraging if you're a Flyers fan, just to have something a little bit different. Tortorella is kind of old school. I mean, Tortorella and Tocchet are kind of similar as far as their coaching style, very defensive, not as offensive, but I think with Tocchet, it adds another layer to the simple fact that, he's played there and he's been sort of beloved there. So I think he'll get a long leash in Philly. They're going to give him a big contract. Again, some of the numbers we were hearing, $5 million a year. These are numbers that like a John Cooper would get. So that's another thing where I don't mind that the Canucks kind of moved on from Rick Tocchet because, or granted, Rick Tocchet moved on from them. Let's be clear about that. But I also don't mind they're paying that much to a coach that, again, I don't think has accomplished a whole lot. And I'm not talking smack on Rick Tocchet. Again, like I wish him well. I loved last season, watching the Canucks and how well they did. But the facts are laid out right there. This is a guy that has not had a ton of success. And I think we'll see if he goes on to make the Flyers a really great team and they can move on, then I'll have a different opinion. But I think right now, if you're looking at the hard numbers, I don't know if Rick Tocchet is as good of a coach as people are making up to be. We got John here. If you've covered this at all, I apologize. Oh, don't ever apologize, JB. We don't have a huge audience in here, so happy to get any question. I think it's a bit early for Manny to be head coach, but I think that could be optics good for Vancouver right now. Oh, 5-5 for Tocchet. It's a done deal. Okay, then good. This is why we do this show. Let's see. Where are we seeing the Tocchet news? Let's see if we got this here. Sorry, I'm just going to quickly check my here. Sorry, guys. I follow a lot of MMA stuff, so let's try and get the Dan Bilesma. In addition to the Rick. Oh no, that's a fake Friedman account. There we go. Okay, where are you seeing the 5x5 here? Let's. Oh, jeez. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna hold off posting anything until I find an actual tweet here that backs this up. So they're saying 5x5 for Rick Tocchet. I'm not seeing. Let me see here. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna try and find the tweet that confirms this. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. I'm not seeing anything yet, but I don't doubt that's the case. I mean, it does make a lot of sense that Rick Tocchet would go there, so that's totally fine. I saw it on Puck Empire. Oh, Puck Empire a few minutes ago. I've never heard of that. Puck Empire. Let's see. Okay, the last tweet I've seen is it's saying that they're zoning in on Rick Tocchet as their head coach. I haven't seen an official announcement. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I think it's probably going to happen anyway. So, Rick Tocchet to the Flyers certainly makes some sense. Oh, and Anthony Salafine. Okay, this is where this is good. But this is why we have John in the chat here. Let's find the actual tweet. San Filipino. Never heard of him. All right. Let's see what he has to say here. Hold on. Okay. Still, I don't know. I can't find the account. Doesn't matter. I'll take your word for it. Rick Tocchet going there makes a lot of sense for the Flyers. Definitely like that moves. Hopefully I didn't get duped. I don't know. I'm not seeing it. If you can find the actual tweet, I will let you know. But again, it wouldn't surprise me that Tocchet's going to go there. Again, that's the best. If you had to pick all your jobs, I mean, okay, Boston and Philly are kind of the same thing. They're both kind of going through a rebuild right now. Seattle, I think, is I think Seattle's even worse than Vancouver, if we're being honest. And that would be a kind of a slap in the face of the Canucks if Rick Tocchet was to coach Seattle. Although there is that relationship there with Ron Francis. By the way, when Tocchet does sign, we got to talk to Troy. I was hoping Troy had that prediction last week that he said LA would be signing Rick Tocchet. We'll see if that ends up happening. Speaking of LA, though, Ken Holland looks to be the GM there. Remember last week we were talking about Ken Holland going to the Islanders. It does appear now that, so here David Pagnotta from fourth period, I should say. Ken Holland is in Los Angeles today and meeting with various members of his new team. He'll be formally introduced as the Kings GM at press conference on Thursday. So that's a bit of breaking news. So, so Ken Holland, GM of the LA Kings, previously of the Edmonton Oilers, and previously of the Detroit Red Wings as well. Obviously had a lot of success with Detroit. So I think Colin will bring someone in that he's familiar with. Does he bring in Jay Woodcroft, right? I believe he hired Jay. Well, or he did hire Jay when he was there. He also fired Jay Woodcroft when he was there too. But maybe he brings him in. We'll see. So keep an eye on LA. Although LA still has their coach, right? Hillier is still at the helm. But usually when a new GM comes in, they usually fire their coaches and bring it in. So we'll have to see. 3 first-round picks for Philly and Nashville this year. Should be interesting to see if they take all 3. And a weaker draft this year, so we'll see if there's any movement there. That's sort of the thinking with the Canucks right now, is they will trade their 15th overall pick, but we'll have to see how things sort of unfold. There's something else I was going to talk about. What was it? Let me just find out here. Oh yeah, back to the Manny thing. Okay, so we kind of got interrupted there with that. But okay, so here's why I don't mind the Manny Malhotra thing. Let's have a look at Manny's career. So first and foremost, Manny is having a great season right now with the Abbotsford Canucks. They're in I believe it's the second or third round of the AHL playoffs, which is good to see. There was also a lot of good call-ups for the Vancouver Canucks this year as far as players that Malhotra had been working with. So you look at it there, he's a bit of a younger coach, played a number of seasons with the Canucks, including the year that they went to the Cup final in 2011. So, he's beloved here. His son was playing for Chilliwack here in the BCHL. I believe he's now playing somewhere else next season. So there's that BC connection. And like I mentioned there, his wife is Steve Nash's sister. I think that's such a cool stat. But you look at his coaching experience. He was an assistant with the Canucks way back in 2017, 2018, had a number of seasons with the Leafs. I get that he doesn't have a ton of experience, but the one thing you're getting with Malhotra is you're getting that familiarity with the group, right? So it wouldn't be much of a new look for the Canucks if they were to bring someone like Manny in, especially if you keep like Adam Foote as an assistant coach. That's another thing we're hearing right now, that Adam Foote is still in the running as the coach for the Canucks as well. I personally don't really want Adam Foote as the head coach. He didn't have a great record in junior when he coached there, but we'll find out. But I did see an Adam Foote thing this morning. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to find out. So we got this. Looks like this was earlier this morning. Elliot Friedman saying the Canucks are doing interviews with Adam Foote, Manny Malhotra, and a couple others. Could have permission to do an interview with Mitch Love. So Mitch Love's an assistant with Washington, I believe, but he's from BC. So there's some interest there. So it looks like it's down to these. There was talk of Marco Sturm being in the mix, former Sharks player, one-time Canucks player. If I'm not mistaken, Marco Sturm was actually signed by the Canucks in the offseason after the Cup run, and then he only lasted like a month or two, and then they flipped him to Florida. I think that was part of the I forget which trade. It was David Booth, I think, or one of the trades that the Canucks did. But he's had a lot of success with the Ontario reign of the AHL. Marco Sturm has. So it looks like it appears that right now they only have, it looks like Foote and Malhotra. And honestly, John, you let me know in the chat here, but I'd rather go with Malhotra than Foote, because if you look at Adam Foote, let's even look at his coaching record. Great defenseman. Remember watching him for the Colorado Avalanche when I was a kid. But I do wonder about his coaching pedigree here. So he's 53. He was the Kelowna Rockets head coach, and he coached them to a 29-28 season. He has even less experience than Malhotra does. He has assistant experience, but not as much as Malhotra does. So I think if you're picking between the two, you're going Manny Malhotra. And there is benefit there. Again, you get I think Malhotra, bit of a new school guy, right? Like newer coach, younger guy, maybe open to new ideas. That was one of the criticisms of his Tocchet here in Vancouver, was that maybe a little bit too old school, right? I mean, listen, my friends and I argue about this all the time. I have a group chat with a bunch of my friends who are Canucks fans. The hockey wasn't fun to watch. Especially when you're losing like 2-0 or 3-0 or something, and there's just no offense from the team because the Canucks keep doing the exact same play, which is dump in and grab the puck. There's got to be more to that. And if you want to see an example of this, go watch what Carolina's doing. They're doing sort of a more higher end version of that, but it's not the most exciting hockey to watch. So listen, I don't need Bruce Boudreau run and gun, lose 6-5 type, hockey all the time. But I think there could be a happy medium there where we get some hockey that's a little bit more exciting. So I think with Manny, you do get that. Plus, again, Manny's got these relationships with a lot of the Abbotsford players. I mean, you got like Lekramaki, you've got Elias Pettersson, the defenseman. There's it's not going to be a coach coming in trying to figure out these players. You've got, a lot of, and then, Malhotra just has a lot of respect within the organization, the Sedins, everything else. I mean, again, he was a big part of the Canucks 2011 run with winning faceoffs and everything else. So, if out of the options they have right now, I would probably lean Manny Malhotra. I would be curious to see I don't know what Mitch Love his hockey coaching experience is. We'd have to have a look at that. But again, he's from British Columbia. He's been in it. So a lot of head coaching experience in junior. Some success here. Saskatoon Blades here, 45-15. Looks like mostly winning seasons. Was a head coach in the AHL as well. Look at this, 45-16 record with the Stockton Heat. Was with the Calgary Wranglers as well. So, I mean, again, I think Mitch Love may be a better option, but obviously they're going to have to see what's going on with Washington. I mean, if I'm the Canucks, I at least give this guy an interview and see what happens. What's the rush? I know they want to get this wrapped up before the draft, but I mean, Washington might lose and they might be out tonight anyway. So get them on the next plane to Vancouver. So we'll see. And then what was the other one? Marco Sturm. Let's have a look at that. So so he's been an assistant with the Kings for a number of years, and he's been the head coach of the Reign, all winning seasons. So that's something to consider as well. And I mentioned it there. They don't even have him listed playing for the Canucks. Oh yeah, he did. Played 6 games for the Canucks. It's crazy. Although got traded to the Panthers and had 5 points for the whole season. Yeah, he took a big drop off there. Okay, what do we got here? I agree about Manny. Need to give the fans something positive right now. And I think that is a step in the right direction, is hiring a Manny Malhotra. No Peter Laviolette, no like old school veteran coach. Let's try something different. And I know that's kind of what Travis Green was when they brought him in back in the day. Same sort of thing, was promoted from the farm team, but Malhotra's got that NHL experience too. You say Penticton V's are moving from BCHL to WHL. Pretty neat to have such a storied franchise now in the WHL. Interesting. I didn't see that. Okay. Isn't there a bunch of stuff going on right now at the NCAA? John, you'd know this because you follow junior hockey better than I do. Isn't there a bunch of stuff going on right now at the NCAA where like they're trying to grab a bunch of the players from the OHL and WHL and all that, and they're offering them I think it's like good opportunities, and so more kids are leaving? I think that's kind of a fact. Or is that more the BCHL? I can't remember. Mitch was in the convo for the Flames head coach a couple times. Canucks legend Marco. Yeah, all 6 games. I wonder if there's a player that's played less games for the Canucks, like actually played. I'm not even talking like a player that was acquired and didn't do anything, but 6 games has got to be some sort of record, playing for a team and not doing much. So we'll see. Mitch loves someone I would entertain for sure. So that certainly makes sense. Okay, so those aren't the only coaching vacancies right now. Let's have a quick look at some of the other ones. So right now, we'll go on Wikipedia. They usually do a good job here. So shout out to Wikipedia. So Joe Sacco's the interim for Boston, so they could promote him, but I imagine Boston will be looking for a new bench boss. You've got Chicago Blackhawks as well. I forgot about them, actually, that they need a coach. They have an interim coach right now. Bradshaw in Philadelphia, although it looks like it might be Tocchet. The Penguins, and who else? The Ducks hired Quenneville, obviously. Seattle's vacant too. So the coaching carousel in the NHL continues. We'll see where they decide to go as far as some of the coaching vacancies. For Boston, did Boston have Peter Laviolette already? Am I forgetting that? Because that seems like a fit that would make a lot of sense. American coach in a big market. No, he is not coached in Boston. He was an assistant with Boston in 2000, 2001. Wonder if they look at him. Because here's the thing, yes, the Rangers had a bad season last year, but the year before, didn't they win the President's Trophy, I think. So there's some options there, so wouldn't be surprised to see that. Some other names we've heard, Todd Richards, who I believe was with the Oilers. I think he was like a one-time, who, by the way, looks a little bit like Cam Neely. Todd Richards is currently a assistant with the Nashville Predators. He was a head coach. Oh, it was the Blue Jackets he was head coach of. Why did I think the Oilers? I think I'm getting that mixed up with someone else. So yeah, Todd Richards is a name that we've heard. Jay Woodcroft as well. Who are some other coaches that are out there that people are talking about? Yeah, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank right now. Yeah, the mass exodus from CHL. I really think Gavin McKenna will be leaving for Michigan next year. The Tigers are eliminated. Caden Lidstrom already committed to OSU. So why, John, you'll know better than me. Actually, John, I should even get you on this show sometime. You know a lot about junior hockey, and it would be good to get some junior hockey insight on here. But why is that? So what is it about the NCAA that they're why are so many players leaving? Is it just better opportunities, or I don't even know why. Suggested Laviolette to Jacob for replacement for coach after they fire John Cooper. No, I think Tampa would go for someone higher, but I think Cooper's gonna be like Mike Sullivan in Tampa. It'll take a lot for him to leave. He's sort of beloved there. I'm surprised they haven't built a statue for him there yet. Trying to think of some other coaches that are out there though right now. I think Daily Faceoff had a list of here we go. So here's some. Here we go. Let's look at this. And some of this is going to be ones that have already been signed. So, like for example, they got Mike Sullivan on here, so he's off the list. Still got Rick Tocchet, although all signs appearing to go to Philly. Oh, Dave Haskell. Forgot about him. So Dave Haskell, if you remember, last coached. Sorry, my browser's tripping out here. This is why I don't like using Chrome, but I had to today because I was having an issue with my camera, and I think we might be frozen here. Hopefully not. Jeez, like look at this. This browser's tripping out here. I got a pretty fast computer too. All right. I don't know if we'll be able to. Okay, at least I can scroll. That's good. Don't know if I'll be able to open up any more tabs. Yeah. So Haskell, he obviously coached Seattle. I know him more I remember when he coached Philly as well. So Haskell's an option. I mentioned Laviolette. Joel Quenville's gone with Anaheim. John Tortorella, is he going to coach again? Maybe he's kind of fed up with coaching. Maybe go into TV. I mentioned Jay Woodcroft. Oh, Jeff Blashill was with Detroit. That's right. Yeah, I forgot about him. So he's someone. Also, the former Red Wings coach, the guy that got fired this year, Derek Lalonde as well. He's someone that could possibly be out there. Dominic Ducharme, who was with Montreal to the Cup final. That's right. I remember that. Dallas Eakins always seems to get a job. Oilers, Ducks, Gerard Gallant. Oh, Gerard Gallant actually might be a fit in Boston. He's been pretty sought out, but hasn't really found a job yet. I mentioned Derek Lalonde, Todd Reardon, Pascal Vincent. That's right. Had to come in when they fired Mike Babcock. Pat Freshwiller. Never heard of him. Adam Foote, Jelf Halpern, Ian LaPerriere. I remember that name. Okay. So he's with the Philadelphia Phantoms. Oh, Mike Vellucci. Actually, that's someone I heard the Canucks were interested in as well. He's got championships in all these leagues here, which is interesting. Manny Malhotra, Brad Shaw. Yeah, Bradshaw was an assistant in Vancouver when I think it was Travis Green was there. Anders Sorensen. Okay, so yeah, some options there. Some options to look at. Now I try and close these browsers and hope for the best. So I won't use Google Chrome anymore. It's brutal, man. It's totally brutal. So a lot of movement here, and you got to think some of these teams want to get these, decisions made fairly quickly. Like I think of the remaining teams, like none of those coaches are going to get let go, right? Like I think they're all safe. Most of them are relatively new. Okay, what else is going on in the world of the NHL? Oh, sorry, why am I off the screen? Oh, I was off the screen for a second. That wasn't good. Okay, let me close this. Jeez, my browser's taking a beating right now. Let's have a look at some other stuff going on news-wise that we can keep an eye on. So yeah, a lot of stuff reporting that Flyers are going to be hiring Tocchet. Again, I think that makes sense. Ooh, Seattle Kraken have interest in Marco Stern. Maybe he gets hired there. Is there any connection to Marco Sturm and Ron Francis? Although I guess Botterill's the GM there now, not Ron Francis. So, could be interesting. And then obviously we'll keep an eye on the unrestricted free agents. The draft's coming up soon. We've got obviously. Oh my God, this browser is just killing me here, guys. Stop sharing my screen. That's probably what's killing it here. What's your take on the Florida owner's tweet that got him suspended? Yeah, I think it's probably in the best interest of people in such a high regard to probably not post on social media, especially stuff that's political. I don't know what it was in reference to. Like I saw the tweet. It was something about someone being anti-Semitic or whatever. I don't know the full details of that. But listen, if you're an owner, you are at the end of the day representing your company or the people you're with, or the company you keep. I think it's important to just not go on social media. It's funny. The Canucks owner, Francisco Ascolini, he has a Twitter account, but he never tweets. But I think it's better to just stay off and not, especially, I mean, I think he was drinking or something because like it's a pretty passionate tweet there, right? So my thoughts are, yeah, I mean, if you represent a company, it would be no different than a player or someone else saying something online. You do represent the company you're with, and if you're saying something bad, then you're going to get in trouble for it. Still not sure what part of the tweet got him suspended. Yeah, I guess, did the NHL say anything about it or no? I guess not. I'll have to keep an eye on it. Yeah, let me, it would probably be better if I actually read this story and saw what they were talking about. So, Florida Panthers owner suspended. NHL bans majority. Oh, they suspended for offensive social media posts. Doug Sifu. Hope I'm saying that right. CIFU. From any involvement with the team. The NHL suspended minority owner Doug Sifu from any involvement with a team or league after a series of social media posts Saturday night. They were back and forth with the Toronto Maple Leafs, with the fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs, veered into statements about the conflict between Israel and Palestine, as well as reference to Canada becoming the 51st state. I see. And then he says, 2 days ago, I posted regrettable and inflammatory comments on social media. My behavior does not reflect the standards of the Florida Panthers organization or the Viola family. I sincerely apologize. I see. Okay, so you got into the political stuff with the Middle East. Yeah, you shouldn't be talking about stuff like that, honestly. It's a touchy subject, so I don't know. My advice is just don't tweet that. My Twitter feed, you guys know this. If you follow me on Twitter, hopefully you guys are at Lynch on Sports. The handle's down there. I don't tweet any politics. I just kind of tweet hockey stuff. I'll tweet some MMA stuff. I'll post some of the content I'm doing, but I really don't post anything there because, you're just asking for trouble in this day and age. Everyone's out to get you. And I especially don't go on social media when I've had a few. That's for sure too. So that's not good. Let me know your predictions for the rest of the playoffs, guys. Let me know in the comments anything that's standing out to you. We can talk about that. Any predictions for the NHL head coaches? Any intriguing prospects for the draft? Again, this is a bit of a weaker draft this year, but still, people intrigued to see what the New York Islanders decide to do. Again, we had Troy on here last week. He believes they will take the first overall projected prospect there and not the local kid. So we'll see how that goes. And the Islanders still looking for a GM. The Islanders really need to find a GM here pretty soon because Lou Lamoriello, by the way, the former GM of the Islanders, apparently was spotted in Buffalo yesterday. Could they be looking for a change there? I don't know. We'll have to see. Lou Lamoriello put the Islanders in a lot of cap trouble, so I don't know if he's someone the Sabres would necessarily want, but obviously the Sabres need to figure something out. The Sabres are an example of a team that's done a rebuild and it hasn't worked out. And that's one of the worst things you can do, As much as it sucks being stuck in the middle, trying to do a rebuild and not being in the playoffs for so long is even worse, so. See what else we got going on in the world of the NHL. So yeah, everyone's sort of mentioning Tocchet to the Flyers. Heiskanen returns. Stolar skates much better, said Berube. Okay, so we got a little bit of an update here. He was back on the ice Tuesday. Oh, World Championships. Forgot about that. Sidney Crosby getting a goal there. Yeah, going to be interesting to see how the Dallas and I mean, again, I don't want to look too far ahead here, but if Dallas does end up, moving on as does Edmonton, I'm curious how the series looks different for this coming year because obviously Edmonton won last year. Dallas really didn't have an answer for them, but I think Dallas is much deeper this year. We'll have to see. Foote is head coach. Foote is head coach of the Canucks? Ooh, we got some breaking news. Why would they do it so soon? Okay, Darren Drager, here we go. This is why we do this show, guys. Adam Foote is the head coach. Wow. Okay. Well, again, I would have preferred Malhotra personally. We'll hope this ends up working. I think for the Canucks, they were expecting Tocchet to be back here. And so you get Adam Foote, who I think was brought on with Tocchet. I think it shares a similar philosophy. And I think this is the easiest transition for the Canucks, having someone like Adam Foote at the helm. Now, there's obviously going to be some, they're going to have to add some people to the coaching staff. So we'll see who he decides to bring in here. But I'm a little bit surprised they just made this decision right now. Yeah, I got mixed emotions about this, guys. I got to be honest, because again, he doesn't have much of a coaching record other than just being the assistant for the Canucks. It seems a bit rushed to me. I think Manny, you could have waited out Manny a little bit longer. They're obviously still in the playoffs. Yeah. So again, silver lining here though is you do get a coach that knows the players already. There's not going to be much of a switch up there. You got to imagine Quinn Hughes had a say in this decision, or at least some of the players. That they didn't want too much of a change. The bad thing with the Canucks is they've gone through 3 head coaches now in 4 years, right? They had Green, Boudreau, Tocchet, and now Foote. So this is kind of, I mean, obviously Foote's different, but at least it's somewhat familiar than what they had before. So that's nuts. And you got to know Quinn Hughes played a role in this decision, I think, as well, because I think there is hope. I know everyone's like Quinn Hughes is gone, but I think the Canucks they've got a sliver of hope that Quinn Hughes is going to stick around. So maybe this is a Quinn Hughes hire, but I know a lot of people are going to be upset by this from the people that I've talked to, because they're not fans of Adam Foote. They feel he's too old school. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Adam Foote, the new head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. It was weird too, is Foote never had any relation to the Canucks other than I guess even with obviously he was with Tocchet in Colorado, right? Because I believe Rick Tocchet was in Colorado too, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't he there for a little bit? Be weird when the Canucks play Philly. Yeah, so Tocchet was an assistant with the Avalanche, and I think Adam Foote was either playing or I'm trying to remember what the connection is to Foote and Tocchet here. Yeah, so Tocchet was an assistant coach for the Avalanche when yeah, I'm just looking here. He was an assistant coach with the Avalanche for 2002, 2003, and 2003, 2004, and Foote was playing for them at the time. So that's the connection there. So that makes sense. So yeah, pretty nuts that Adam Foote is now the head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. So wonder what assistants he'll bring in. Keep an eye on maybe some Colorado candidates, some Colorado ties there. Just even trying to think of any of the coaches that are currently available right now, if there's any that would fit the mold. Maybe Manny does get promoted to assistant. I don't know. Although is that a promotion? I think you'd want to be a head coach in the AHL. So we'll have to see. Lots of moving parts here right now. So we'll have to see what happens there with the Canucks. But my instant reaction is he wasn't the guy I wanted, but I also understand it from a perspective of trying to keep things familiar for the hockey club. So I think that will make the transition a little bit easier. And again, management's already familiar with him. Why not wait, though? I'm kind of thinking of that, too. Sorry, guys. I'm just kind of taking a step back here. Washington could get eliminated. Washington's playing tonight, right? It's tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, no, they're playing tomorrow. Why don't you wait till tomorrow? If Carolina beats Washington, you can go interview Mitch Love and see if he's a better fit. I don't know why they have to do this right now at this exact second. I know getting ahead of things, but I just wonder why they're doing that. So, yeah. So, I don't know, man. That's nuts. Glad we got this reaction on here, though, so you can see me being a bit surprised. But yeah, I know. Listen, I can already tell you right now, Canucks Twitter is not going to like this. They would have rather waited. Because he doesn't have that much experience other than working with the Canucks, right? Let's have a quick look at the record one more time. Again, great player. Got nothing against Adam Foote, the player. Great career. Look at these numbers, right? These are Hall of Famer numbers. Yeah, just 1 season with the Rockets and 3 seasons with the Canucks. I don't know, man. Curious what the contract looks like, how long it is. I mean, maybe it's just long enough before Rutherford says I'm out of here and then they go with someone else, but we'll see. I hope it works out. I do. Listen, this is a passionate fan base. The Canucks got a sample. The Canucks fans got a sample of this last year, what the playoffs were like. Like, it was electric here. It was a lot of fun. Like I told you guys, I went to game 1 of round 2 last year against Edmonton. It was awesome. Canucks fans just want to get back to that. So whatever it takes, this may be the answer. It may not be. It may blow up in their face. I don't know. Again, he's been through the ringer, though, with the Canucks last year anyways. Maybe there were things he would have rather done that Tocchet didn't do that he can add to. Again, there is some positives to this, too, where he's been through the ringer of how things were last season. Like, I can't imagine. In fact, I'll predict this right now. There's no way last season with the Canucks is going to be as bad as this coming season. There can't. I don't think it can get any worse. Maybe it can. Maybe I'm underestimating the power of the hockey gods and how the Canucks have been, cursed. They really have been cursed. Going all the way back to that first overall pick, the expansion draft, they end up getting Dale Talon, and Buffalo gets Gilbert Perreault, right? I think that dating back to that, going into them. I mean, there's so many things that haven't worked out for the Canucks. Even like tragedy, Luc Bourdon passing away, one of their best defensive prospects they ever drafted. Like, there's just been a curse on this team. They've never won the cup. They've never got the first overall pick. Something's got to change. So let's hope that Adam Foote is the answer, can lead them to the promised land. Could have waited for the Abbots for Canucks to be eliminated too. I guess they want Manny in the AHL. Could be that too. Maybe they want a little bit more. Maybe this is a short-term thing with Foote. Maybe they see how he does the next couple seasons, and then Manny's the choice. They could do that too. Maybe Foote had interest elsewhere. The Canucks needed to jump when they could. That could be it as well, but I don't know. Don't know. At least someone wants to come back and coach the Canucks, right? That was the big thing too. Tocchet must know something we don't. Well, hey, Foote's saying I'll coach. So that's some good news. Yeah, we'll talk about this next week for sure. I might actually get Dave Hall back on the show next week. I need to get someone Canucks wise to talk about what they think of this coaching hire. But Adam Foote, the head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. I think that's a good time to end things here today, guys. Shorter show. I'll get a guest next week. This week I was too busy. But we'll definitely get some stuff on there. For next week, we'll get a guest on. Maybe I should try and even get 2 guests. And we'll see what round 3 looks like, because we should have some. I think most of the teams will have moved on since by the time we talk next week. So again, if I missed your question, everyone, just post in the comments. Happy to answer it whenever I get a chance. This is the Fanatics View Hockey Show. I will see you guys next week. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys soon.